Some people support genetic engineering because it allows the more desirable characteristics we see as a society to be enhanced in ways we never thought possible. You could enhance features such as beauty, mental capacity, physical capacities, and among other physical and mental features. Many support this because we will have better athletes, we will have more intelligent individuals who can help us discover new things and learn and hopefully cure different diseases. However, on the flip side, many oppose genetic engineering because the fear of the unknown. We are traveling in unknown territory. You don't know what you could create once you start altering with these different genes and inabilities of a person. What could happen is you could create a race or some kind of other creature by altering this genetic makeup. A lot of people fear that if we do this, you will see that children and others will be alienated from society because they won't have anything in common with others because they'll all be different and they'll all have different um, enhancements. And so you can't really relate with each other on those areas because one will be so enhanced that the other feels outcasted. And like, so the person who's way enhanced won't be able to relate to anybody else because nobody else has that level of capacity. So they feel alienated from society because they feel like the freak, so to say. Another worry or concern people have about genetic engineering is that by genetic engineering people, it's kind of like what happened in Nazi Germany, where you were completely demolishing a certain race or, you know, type of person based on the characteristics you saw as desirable, and then you're completely extinguishing a entire race of people that you consider undesirable based on their physical traits or their physical um, or mental capacities. So some people are scared that stuff like that will happen as well with genetic engineering. Genetic engineering is the process of enhancing genes to get a more desirable effect. Gene therapy is a form of therapy that is used to improve a disorder or eradicate a disorder by altering the reproductive cells or somatic cells. That is already in use currently in some humans and some clinical trials, as people fear that as well because of the unknown. And some of the clinical trials have went wrong because you don't know how what you do with these genes or what happens when it's placed in the wrong spot or what happens if you give it to the wrong person. So many different things could go wrong, and people fear that unknown, which in science, there's a lot of unknown. Um, but back to genetic engineering. Genetic engineering is already used on things such as crops and some livestock, such as you use it for pesticides and different things for like our large crops such as corn or beans or tobacco or whatever. You spray these pesticides on it and it reduces the amount of pesticides and can enhance the amount of growth or production, which in the future they plan that it will increase the yield of the plants and by genetic engineering. In livestock, genetic, sorry, genetic engineering is used, such as in racehorses, you breed certain animals together to get a more desirable offspring. And you can genetically modify certain abilities in order to get a more desirable effect. And they worry that in humans, if you do this, it will cause some issues. And there's also another end of the spectrum that people worry about as far as genetic engineering goes, and that is that you're messing with the natural makeup that was intended for that person. So, say you're religious. If you're religious, you don't want to mess with what was intended for that person. That person was made the way they are for a reason, and their life is set up according to whatever reason or disability or effect they have. And messing with that would be going and acting against God's will. On the flip side, you could also say that it's messing with evolution because people evolutionize to fit their natural living standard. So, people who believe in evolution believe that your body, your makeup, your DNA is adjusting to fit that particular area you live in. For example, in places like Africa, the Africans' skin pigment change is a lot darker in order to keep them to be cooler in the hotter climates. So people who believe in evolution believe that we evolved to fit our society. So if you try to go and change that, that's going to mess with the gene makeup, and we will not reach our life expectancies because our bodies are already set to that predisposed setting that we need to be at in order to survive in today's society. So there is a lot of controversy, and as we speak, gene therapy has been going on, and in the future there is a possibility of genetic engineering in humans, and that is not particularly something you want. Or it might be favorable for some aspects in life, such as curing cancer. But either way it goes, there is fears and worries, and there is some benefits that could arise from either of those medical advances.